Hello guys, previously we have discussed about the suspended cradle, access cradle and platforms, and this time we will discuss the abrasive wheels tools including shape disc cutting and angle grinding. So let's begin. Minimum requirements for the abrasive wheels. Abrasive wheels tools, including angle grinders and disc cutters, can cause major injuries and fire hazards if they are used in an unsafe manner. So disc cutters is a significant hazard that will create the example you can cut your finger immediately, or you can create a hazards of fire that can trigger the burning of your workshop or the buildings. So that is minimum requirements. Often the main cause for injury and fire is lack of training and experience when operating. So the often causes for the injury of fire is the person who are using the abrasive wheels is lack of training, and they don't have experience in the safe operating procedures or safe use of the abrasive wheels. So let us discuss something so that we can prevent those hazards and risks to the people and to the property. To reduce the risk, you need to know and act on the following precautions: instruction and training in the operation of disc cutters and angle grinders. So the person who are using the grinders, including the supervisors, they should have instruction. They should receive the instruction and proper training on the safe operation of the disc cutters and angle grinders. No person is allowed to operate the disc cutters or grinders unless they have undergone training and instruction in both pre-start inspection, safe operations from a competent person. Competent persons, as I always discuss, person holding recognized certification to train in the safe operation of abrasive wheel tools. Okay, so it is strictly no person is authorized or permitted to use or operate the disc cutters unless he received the proper training and instruction during before the work and for the safe operations of the works or the use of these abrasive wheel tools. Of course, the person who are giving the training is a competent persons that having a certification from the government or recognized government third-party certification. Okay, and the operator must be listed in the workplace training registers as having successfully passed a competency assessment to operate abrasive wheels tools. So if the operators is trained and having a competency assessment, you need to give their names. I would suggest to give their names in the storekeepers area, so that when they are requesting the abrasive wheels from the storekeepers, they can verify immediately their name on the list. And of course, if they have the ID training badge, as I said, training badge, it is also easy for the inspector to check, especially in the site, if the operator are competent to use the abrasive wheels tools. So pre-start inspection, the operator must check the disc guard is in place, secure, and is free from damage. The disc guard is the cover on the guard. The disc guard is the guard cover for the disc, so that it can prevent direct contact with the rotating wheels when the operator is using it I will show you in the pictures on the succeeding page slides what is the discharge. The power cable, industrial plug, and electrical connections must be free from breaks and exposed wires. Okay, so the outer casing of the tools must be free from cracks. All securing screws must be in place and not loose. So there are times that the screw which serve as holding the casing of the power tools together tight is loose because of prolonged use. So this should be checked before the use or issuance of the power tools or the abrasive tools. So as on the second bullet as well, all the power cables, industrial plug, and electrical connections should be checked and in good working conditions before issuance. So all handles and grips must be intact, fitted, and not loose. So the abrasive wheels, there are provision of handles to have a good grips for the operator when he is using it. So it should be fit, intact, and not loose to easily for him to control the abrasive wheels. The tools must have an easily accessible and efficient starting stopping device. So emergency buttons should be available on the shall be available on the tools. Because of something happen, example for emergency reason, it can immediately stop the device without panic. So there are provision on the power tools on the recent times that when you are pushing the button of the angle grinder, it will work. But when you release the button, it will stop automatically. So that is the safety features of the angle grinder nowadays. The disc must be secured with the correct flange and locking nut for the cutter and grinder. So make sure that all the disc is properly tight and with the proper accessories before use, because when you use the grinder, the disc may fly or broken into pieces, and it will hit the users. The RPM rating of the disc must be higher than RPM rating for the cutter grinder. So what is the logic on this is when the disc is lower RPM than the grinder, so the grinder will rotate higher than the disc RPM, then the disc will broken into pieces, so it will trigger to an acceptable accident. So when you are choosing the disc, it should be higher than the RPM of the tools. Example, when your tools is around 4,000 RPM, okay, so you can use 4,500 for the disc or equal, but it is better always to be more than the RPM of the grinder. So at least you have factor of safety always. The correct type of disc for the work to be undertaken must be used. So example, you are doing the cutting of the steel, so make sure that the disc you will choose is for cutting of steel, or the disc cutting for steel. Because if you are using another disc which is not intended for the steel, it will damage the disc and it will trigger to accident. The disc with expired shelf life must not be used. Remember that the disc is molded and and manufactured with the chemicals so that it will bonded together. Example for the stone grinding disc. Okay, so if the disc is expired, so maybe the chemical also will expire. That whole the chemical that they use to bond the materials of the disc also expired. So the tendency, it will broken apart, and then it will trigger to an accident. These that have visible signs of damage or have come into contact with the water or any other fluid must not be used. So the issue in this is when the disc is exposed to the chemicals or fluid, it will weaken the structure of the disc, and it will be damaged in case of use. So again, it will trigger to an acceptable accident. If any disc is observed, or if any damage is observed in the grinder cutter, must not be used. Return to the store where it must be tagged with the following danger: faulty, do not use. So any damage, you are not allowed to repair or modify that damage, except for those who are trained and competent to do the job, like the technician. Okay, so immediately remove the grinder or cutter from service and request for the new one from the storekeeper. When cutting or grinding metal, a hot work permit must be issued, and all safety precautions of the permit must be in place, including warning signs and entry protection barriers. Okay, this is when you are doing the hot works. So in order to control the risk of fire on the buildings, on your workshop, okay, so we need to implement the hot work permit system. So in the hot work permit system, there are so many requirements that we need to comply before we can start and end the job. Okay, all works areas must be free from slips, strips, hazards, and adequately ventilated. This is very clear that when the person are handling the grinder and using it, and then his feet slip on the ground, then it can trigger to accident to him, especially if the grinder is in working situation. It will cut his finger, any parts of his body immediately when he is tripped. So we need to make sure that our work areas are safe and free from any slip and trips hazards, and adequately ventilated. Handling and use. You must use the right tool for the right job. Example, you must not use a grinding disc for cutting or cutting disc for grinder. Okay? So when you are using the grinding disc for cutting, the tendency, because this is not appropriate for the task, the disc will be broken or damaged immediately. Or if you are using the disc, the cutting disc for grinder, for grinding works, the cutting disc may damage because it's not intended for the grinding disc, grinding work. Sorry. When the discs were worn and performance is affected due to the reduced disc diameter, it must be discarded. Okay, so when you are continuously using the disc, it will be lessened, or it will be worn out. Each diameter will be reduced, so the tendency, the disc will rotate as fast more than expected. So it will trigger to an accident. And if this is so happen, immediately remove that disc from service and change by the new disc, so that we can ensure that the disc is safe to use. You must not use excessive force and when cutting, as this reduces the service life of the tool and may cause the disc to shatter. Okay, so it's very self-explanatory. If you are using the grinder and you are doing cutting, never push it excessively, so that the disc will not damage, because if you push it very hard, then what happen, the disc may be damaged and shattered to anyone on the surrounding, including the operator. Two hands must always be used when using the grinder cutting tools, but do not cover any air vents. Okay, so there is air vent on the tools. So the air vent is to reduce the hot emitted during the grinding inside of your power tools or the grinder, and make sure that you are controlling the tools by your two hands, so that there's no chance that this will accidentally slip from your hand, that will cause the accident and injury to yourself. When using disc cutting tools, you must always operate with safety guard between your body and the disc. So always position yourself on behind of the disc guard, so that anything or any parts of the disc is fly or broken and fly away, so you are free from that. You will not be hit by those rotating or flying parts of the disc. This must only be replaced by people who are received specific training in disc replacement. Okay, so only people who receive the training can replace the disc, because the problem is, if they did not receive the proper training on how to replace the disc, maybe the disc is loose and it will accidentally detach during use. So it's better always ask to the person who are having a specific training for disc replacement to fix your disc for you or to change the disc for you. The correct tools must always be used for fitting the disc. Okay, so don't use the hammer or any types of metal to tighten the disc. Always use like for example the spanner, the proper spanner. If your disc spanner size is 12, use the same size to fix or fit the disc on your power tools. Electrical power tool supply to the tools must be disconnected before removing and fixing the discs. Okay, so the tendency is, if you are not removing it, maybe accidentally you will press the starting button and then it will rotate immediately while you are fixing it, and then you will get accident. So always to ensure that no power before you removing or fixing the disc from the tools. This must be fitted so that the rotation arrow turns in the same direction as the tool spindle. Okay, so the disc, there is arrow on it, and also the tools there is arrow on it. So you should match on those arrows, so that their turns is in the same direction. Appropriate eye face protection must be used. So the mandatory PP you must wear, like for example the goggles, the leather gloves, the earplugs for the noise, the mask for the dust. Okay, face shield for your face protections. Okay, gloves must always be worn to protect from flying particles and sparks unless there is a foreseeable risk of entanglement. So you must be always use the gloves, unless that when you use it you will be entangled to the rotating parts of the abrasive wheels. The earplugs must be worn to bring noise exposure down to the acceptable safe level. So example, your grinding works produce 150 decibels and you want to work 8 hours. This will damage your ears. And remember, the last when your ears hearing is damaged and it cannot be repaired. So always protect your hearing by using the earplugs, proper earplugs. So you need to consult from the safety department. Check what is the noise level for your job and what is the appropriate earplugs and ear muffs to your to that noise, so that you will not damage your hearing. A face mask must be worn to prevent inhalation of fumes and particulates. Okay, so if you are inhaling the fumes for a long time, then it will damage your lungs, and you will get sick. You will get illness, which is irreversible. Okay, so it is always better to prevent those sickness to come to your body, so that you will not get treated lately. It's better you have a healthy body all the times. Remember that if you damage your body and if you don't have any you don't have capacity to do the job, then you will be replaced. So it is always protect our body, our system, especially our lungs, by using the appropriate mask for our task. This is in addition to the standard requirements for the PPE of helmet, vest, and safety shoes. So this is the mandatory PPE that you must wear. So on the pre-start check, you can see here on this guard is secure with no signs of damage. So this is the guard, and this is the disc grinder, and this is the flange or locking nut. Okay, and this is the handle, and this is the air vent for your power tools or disc grinder, abrasive wheels, and here is the button securing screw, should be tightened. Okay, power cable and electrical connection are free from damage, no wires are exposed, so all of these should be in good condition, because when we are concentrating our job, we are not looking for this, and also it will trigger to lessen our production, because we are always looking for this damaged area, and you are avoiding to touch it. So what is the tendency is you are not concentrating to your proper job. So it's better before you used for the task, make sure that all of this is checked. Outer casing is free from cracks and no internal electric components are accessible. So all of this casing should be tight, should be intact, and no any cracks on the physical appearance of this external casing. When cutting or grinding metal, a hot work permit. Permit is very important when you are doing the cutting. There are so many incidents of fire because of this activity. So it is always better to follow the safe system of works and follow the requirements of the permits. Okay, this selection and fitting. So here is some example. This power tools, it has 10,000 revolution per minute. Okay, so what you will do, what you will choose is 13,300 rpm. As more, this is more than 10,000, because if you choose the 3,600, okay, it will damage the disc. And remember that this is the rotating parts of the machine, and when it broken into pieces, it will fly to somewhere and it will hit you or other people around you. So only use the correct tools for fitting the disc. Use the proper correct tools, not a hammer or any unfit hand tools to fix the disc. Okay, so if the disc is marked with a rotating arrow, always match it to the arrow embossed on the tools. As you can see here, there is embossed arrow here. Okay, and also your disc also there is arrow. So all on fixing of this disc, it should be on the same direction. Otherwise, it will not work properly, and there is a tendency of accident. This with the expired validity date must not be used. In this example, like for example, there is validity date here. So like for example, today is January 2014, and your disc is January 1, 2014. That means it's already expired, so you need to replace. So always check your disc, where is the expiry date, and check the current date, so you can see if this is expired or not expired. Handling and use. Always use the correct grip and rotation of the disc. Example, sparks produced are thrown away from the body. So this is the guard, and you are doing the grinding of the steels, and you need to position behind the guard so that all the sparks that produce during the grinding will be thrown away from your body. Okay, so here are some example. The guard must be kept between the operator and the disc. So always the guard and the operator. Okay, so this is the disc, this is the guard, and this is the operator. That means you are safe because there is guard between the rotating disc and to you. Okay, so guys, if you have any questions, please drop your questions and I'll try to answer it. And our next topic is hot works, so we'll discuss on the next tutorial.